Support Black-owned journalism now more than ever. Black-owned media faces threats and needs our support. Help keep Black voices alive by donating today. Support Black voices today.
All right. Support Black voices today. We are live. It's Let It Be Known on a Thursday, and lots is happening. We got some R. Kelly news. R. Kelly got in some trouble. And where do you hear the trouble that he's gotten into? Um, Ben Crump wants justice for a family whose teen died in prison. We're going to talk about that. Ben Crump, by the way, incidentally, also received an Emmy Award for his short film about suing the KKK. We'll talk about Ben Crump this morning. Also, we visit the Where is Malika site. Where is Malika? She spends 72 hours in the Australian outback. And we've got you covered with news you can use, of course, with our girl, Shawnee B. But first and foremost, this morning, folks, there you have it. There you see it. That is Prince Albert. And he's been arrested. It's all related to the Epstein files. Yep, he is going down, folks. They are moving in. Law enforcement is starting to move in, at least overseas. We see that disgraced monarch, who even his own brother, and good for King Charles. Good for King Charles. Says, I am just not helping you out, dude. What you've done is disgusting. For years, Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book read like a guest list to the most exclusive club on earth: presidents, princes, billionaires, the untouchables. And yet nothing seemed to stick to the truly powerful until now, with the arrest of Prince Andrew, brother to King Charles, was arrested. Um, he was previously stripped of his titles by his brother, taken off of any royal assignments. And so let that sink in. A royal is in custody. Perhaps the long arm of the law is long as it's been advertised, but um, what a sight to wake up this morning to see someone actually being held accountable for the Epstein situation. Someone powerful like Prince Andrew being held accountable. Amazing stuff, folks. Prince Andrew is in custody in Great Britain. And the question becomes, will we start to see that here on this side of the pond? Hillary Clinton says she's demanding transparency. She says, get the files all out. She says that the government, the U.S. government, has been slow walking everything. Of course, the president claims that he's been exonerated. Oh, man. But it makes you wonder, though, if royalty can be questioned, if titles cannot be in the way of handcuffs, then maybe, just maybe, the arm of the law stretches further than anyone thought. And that is a headline that shakes palaces, White Houses, and other spots. So, hey, your boy is he's locked up, and I guess we will see what's going on with the Epstein situation. This is a big one. We may not see it that way over here on this side, but hey, maybe it sends a signal. Also learned this morning that in Paris, France, authorities there have also opened up an investigation, two separate investigations into governmental officials involved with Jeffrey Epstein. So if they can do it in Great Britain, they can do it in yeah, London, they can do it in Paris. Hey, um, we we're going to see just how they are going to carry on. Pam Bondi, are you listening? Because there are a lot of there's a lot of victims, tons of victims, and you want justice for people, especially those who were victim child molestation, assault, S-aid, as they say. You definitely want them to get some justice. And speaking of, how about this man? How about this man? Uh, what is the deal, R. Kelly? What what is really the deal here, R. Kelly? R. Kelly's in trouble again. You say, how is that possible? He's under investigation, folks, for possessing the phone, the phone number, I should say, of a retired warden at his federal lockup in North Carolina. He's been placed in isolation while they investigate. Uh, Bo Brinley, R. Kelly's attorney, says he is in isolation. That's a fact. He's being held there simply because of his possession of a phone number for a retired prison official. That's also a fact, his attorney says. His only reason for having the phone number or contact with that prison official is because he was involved in a mentor program in jail, but prison officials are not looking at it that way. Um, why does R. Kelly have the phone number of the former warden? R. Kelly knows how to find some trouble, don't he? He couldn't let Prince Andrew have the day to himself. R. Kelly said, "Hey, hold my beer. Hold my beer, y'all." Come on, R. Kelly. I don't is it too much of an offense if this warden gave him his number? Is it too much of an offense? Um, I I don't know. You have to ask yourself. It's breaking prison rules apparently, but the warden who gave him the number knew he was breaking prison rules. I guess 2 wrongs don't make it right. Maybe let's see what type of, blowback that the warden, the ex-warden gets from this, but R. Kelly is now in isolation. He's in the hole, as it were. He's been serving out his 30-year prison sentence at the Federal Correctional Institute in Butner, North Carolina, where after he was, convicted on federal charges, in trials that took place in 2021 and in 2022. So R. Kelly, um, has, found himself in serious trouble. We'll see. Now, what happens there, they can, add to the sentence. You could get maybe weeks or months added to your sentence. Not like he's getting out anytime soon, but man, here's some other news, folks, that, attorney Ben Crump is very much involved in. He's joining this morning the family of this man, Jevion, Benham, in a news conference to demand accountability for Javion's death on December 24th, 2025. Javion was found dead in solitary confinement in Valdosta State Prison. His body was already decomposing when they found him, and the coroner determined that he had been deceased for at least 2 days before they discovered him. The coroner also determined that he was strangled to death, and his death has been ruled a homicide. His cellmate, who is the primary suspect, was reportedly considered violent and dangerous and affiliated with the Ghostface Gang, a white supremacist prison gang. The family says that his death was preventable, and it raises serious concerns about failures by the Georgia Department of Corrections, including lack of supervision and unsafe housing decisions. So Ben Crump will hold that press conference today. As you see, Prince Andrew again. That's the top story, folks. But Attorney Crump will hold a press conference today. It will be at the uh, Siloam Church International on Roosevelt Highway in South Fulton at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, what we failed to mention earlier this week is that Ben Crump also won an Emmy for his. We also wrote about it, but he won an Emmy for his short film, documentary film titled "How to Sue the KKK." And I talked to Attorney Crump this week, and I mean he is over the moon with that. But as with everything else with Ben Crump, with the Emmy Award, NAACP Image Award, the release of his new book, and of course, all of these cases like that of Javion, Attorney Crump hasn't had time to really take in the victories that he has achieved, the accomplishments. So big ups to Attorney Crump, who continues to be a major player on this stage that we have found ourselves on in this era of white supremacy and the reign of Donald Trump hasn't stopped him. So good for Attorney Crump. And speaking of not being stopped, we have to give kudos to Governor Wes Moore. Governor Wes Moore is just not backing down. He's not backing down from anything, and that includes ICE. He signed a emergency legislation that prohibits the state and local law enforcement agencies from entering into agreements with federal immigration authorities that allow officers to carry out civil immigration enforcement duties. The legislation immediately ended the state's participation in the long-running 287 program. He says in Maryland, we defend constitutional rights and constitutional policing, and we will not allow untrained, unqualified, and unaccountable ICE agents to deputize our law enforcement officers. He says the bill draws a clear line. He says we will continue to work with federal partners to hold violent offenders accountable, but he says we refuse to blur the lines between state and federal authority in ways that undermine the trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Maryland is a community of immigrants, and that is one of our greatest strengths because this country is incomplete without each and every one of us. The measure passed as Senate Bill 245 and House Bill 444 took effect immediately upon the governor's signature. It will prohibit jurisdictions from participating in agreements at all with the Department of Homeland Security's ICE operations. So Governor Moore says enough is enough, and good for the governor on that. ICE has retreated apparently, or at least being withdrawn continuously from Minneapolis, where we know so much damage was done. And I tell you, a big shout out to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle went out and visited and placed flowers on the spot where Alex Preddy was killed. He talked about the inhumanity of going in and attacking folks who are either peacefully protesting or minding their own business that the U.S. government could unleash on its own citizens is amazing. Chappelle had a performance in Minneapolis and, of course, sold out quickly. And the one thing about Dave Chappelle, a lot like Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor really, I don't think, has ever been given enough credit for being such a outspoken critic of injustice in his comedy. Happy Thursday, says RNG. He says, will the Democrats hold or fold during this partial government shutdown? And that's, of course, the big question always. Will they hold or fold? And they have done more folding. They have certainly done more folding than holding. I don't think they listen totally to the Kenny Rogers song, Know When to Hold 'em, Know When to Fold 'em, Know When to Walk Away, Know When to Run. They've been doing a lot of folding. And this is interesting to watch because Chuck Schumer, and I was certainly one who criticized him on this last deal to keep the government open, um, when he made with Donald Trump at the White House, and that was to negotiate. They agreed to keep the government funded for 2 weeks. This was back at the end of January. They agreed to keep them funded um, through the middle of this month or well, early this month, with the promise that they would negotiate something when it came to ICE and Homeland Security funding. We know back in November, during that shutdown, Schumer and the Democrats negotiated to negotiate. And when it was time to negotiate, the GOP said, take a long walk on the short plank. We're not doing it. And so um, they folded. The Democrats folded, as RNG said. They folded. Now we'll see. And now the funding has run out for the Department of Homeland Security and ICE while this partial shutdown continues. So we will see because it seems like they're holding some cards, and they're holding perhaps more cards than what they may even give themselves credit for. They're winning these special elections. Jasmine Crockett may very well win the Senate out of Texas, out of Governor Hot Wheels' estate. And, she's definitely one who hasn't folded, but they may very well capture the House and the Senate in November. But in the meantime, they have whittled down the Republican majority in the U.S. House of Representatives, where MAGA Mike, the Speaker, can only afford to lose one vote now. He can only afford to lose one vote. And there are some Republicans who have, in the last couple of instances, have been voting, a handful, 5 to 7 of them, voting Democrats, voting by way or like Democrats. So it's a very precarious situation now. And this is why you hear Donald Trump say things like, I'm going to do this or do that without Congress. And that goes back to John Roberts, the Supreme Court, saying that he's a monarch, giving him the kingdom. But with a strong Congress who is not going to fold, they can really curtail a lot of what this president is doing. In fact, folks, I don't know if you know this, but the U.S. is about to go to war with Iran this weekend. It's been leaked that the plan is to attack Iran this weekend. Now, we know the history between U.S. and Iran. We also know the relationship between Russia and Iran. So when we see Trump attacking Venezuela, uh, taking the president of Venezuela out of there, threatening Greenland, um, now Iran, this is the epitome of poking the bear. It's the epitome of poking the bear. You have your troops already attacking U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. So eh, now you are really because you're not only poking Iran, who who and unfortunately Jimmy Carter found out, these that government over there, that military over there, maybe, uh, you can outman them, but outmaneuvering, outfighting them, ultimately, you may be able to, but it's one of those things that Iran fought, for instance, Iraq for 10 years. It was a 10-year war back in the '80s. They hate the United States. They absolutely despise the United States. They will fight. Even the factions within that country that go against each other will band together to fight the United States. And then, let's not forget, Russia is not gonna sit idly by, neither will North Korea if Donald Trump goes, ahead with his plans to attack Iran. So we look at all these economic problems here and other problems here. It's only gonna get worse if we go into all-out war. And some people are already saying that anything to detract from the Epstein files. But this, is huge, folks. It flew under the radar until a leaked report came out late last night that the troops have already, been gathered at various borders around Iraq, and they are ready to strike. Not Iraq, Iran. This is, um, this is something that we didn't hear on the campaign trail. We didn't hear about Venezuela on the campaign trail. We didn't hear about, Greenland too much on the, campaign trail. We certainly didn't hear about attacking Iran and going to war with Russia. No, we didn't. We didn't. But here we are. Here we are. And RG says, all because Benjamin Netanyahu controls Trump. He says, let's hope and pray this doesn't turn out to be another Iraq. And this is where you're headed. But I think worse, ONG, I think worse because again, we all have speculated, and I'll use that term loosely, speculated, that Putin controls Trump, or at least, or at the very least, that Trump uh, kowtows to Putin. And Trump wants to prove that he is not uh, Putin's little girlfriend. You know, you that's the one thing left for rich, powerful white men is to put their Imma say it in a very white way, put their Johnsons on the table, measure their Johnsons against each other. And so, biggest, baddest, none of them probably could please a woman, but nonetheless, I digress. Nonetheless, um, but this is what they do. And we heard the Trump kids, the boys, talk about and basically own up to what they have been doing, referring to it as a Ponzi scheme, openly, openly, because they're above the law, and they know they're above the law. But this thing with Iran is extremely it's serious, it's imminent, and now with the arrest of Prince Andrew and more heat coming out of the Epstein, situation, this president has all the more reason now to detract. It's not his life he's putting at risk by sending, people's children and loved ones against the Ayatollah. I always said that too, um, who was it? It was, in Orange, you might remember this, and I think it was back, either in the '70s or the '80s. It was either Carter or Reagan, and it may have been Anwar Sadat of Egypt who said, "Hey." or maybe in one of the Russian leaders, Brezhnev. He said, "Okay, let's duel." My pre I think it was Brezhnev and Reagan. Brezhnev I think it was Brezhnev who challenged Reagan to a duel instead of a war. I think that's a brilliant idea. Presidents, because they get their panties in a bunch. I think it's a brilliant idea. Let them duel it out. I'm pretty much sure if you could remember, Orangey, but it was, or any of the viewers, if you could remember, Shaddam, Shadaman, if I said your name wrong, I apologize. Johan, um, Zenith 1234, if you could remember. I think it was Brezhnev, but just duel it out. But they're going to war. They are going to war or preparing to go to war. And that, folks, is where it stands. And speaking of the weekend, if you're in the northeast, southeast of the United States, haven't we had enough bad weather? Haven't we had enough storms, snowstorms? Well, a bomb, what do they call it? A bomb snowstorm, a huge nor'easter is threatening the coast again from South Carolina through Virginia, DC, Philadelphia, New York, all the way up to Boston. Now, there's a chance that, according to AccuWeather, it's a chance that that could move out and be just rain. It's about a warm front and cold front. I've never been a weather person. When I worked at MSNBC, I used to go to the weather studio. There was a nice looking black woman who used to do the weather. So I used to go over there and hang out with her and watch her do the weather. We used to chat about the screen and everything and how she did it. But nonetheless, I used to be fascinated because all that science is involved. I don't like science. I'm not big on science. I passed science, and that's all I did was pass it. Got a C minus, and I was happy. So, but the weather is about if there's a warmer front that moves toward the coast, it'll be rain. But if the colder front moves out toward the ocean, something like that, then we're gonna get hit with maybe a foot or more of snow. We just been cleaning out. We still cleaning out. I look out my window right now. There's still plenty of snow out there. Tired of this. Tired of this. Folks, folks get ready to go. Family going to Puerto Rico, leaving me behind. That's okay. I got business to attend to. Got business to attend to. But some of that business is gonna involve snow removal, apparently. Oh gosh. Y'all want some news you can use from my girl, Shawnee B. Y'all gotta sign up to her TikTok page. I enjoy her immensely. And so we're gonna go out now and get some of that. It's your girl, Shawnee B. And if you're cooler, you got to cool her, yeah.
Disclaimer. I don't know what's going on out here in these streets, but that's why we gonna talk about it. Now, I was minding my own business with my ugly ass, and I saw a caption that said, dramatic video shows gunmen opening fire during a car repo in Texas. Suspect arrested after bullets hit the SUV. I said, what? Okay. So I'm going to let you guys see the footage. I'm going to let it play a few times, and we're going to come back and go down the rabbit hole. Let's go. Baby, look, I'm not the smartest book on the shelf. But when you use the words repo with your ugly ass, I'm expecting to see a tow bed or a tow truck. That's when I know you defaulted on payment. I ain't never seen somebody drive off and they're the driver of your vehicle. Normally something's assisting it and they taking it with a hook. Well, anyway, who am I? So I don't even know where Belton, Texas is, but it was going down. It's going down. Meet me in it. It's going down. It was going down in Belton, Texas. Now, again, I'm seeing that the vehicle was stolen. But I don't know this man's story. But I know he came out with that chopper. He came out like he was in the army, shooting like it's just normal. Golly. And the way the truck took off, to me, it was giving that somebody had been eyeing the vehicle. Somebody saw a minute to take the vehicle and took it. And then maybe if it is a stolen vehicle, it's going to be chopped down for parts. That's what they do. But if it's indeed a repo vehicle, is this the way y'all repoing cars now? Y'all hopping in the car itself? Now, I was reading the comments because I was nosy. And the comments said that it could have possibly been one of those, is a service called, what is it called? Where the person that owns the vehicle can rent it out to people. They're acting as the enterprise, the Hertz or whatever. I cannot think of the name, and somebody's probably yelling at the screen, but I'll put the picture up to show you what I'm talking about. And they were saying that's how those owners repossess their cars from people that go beyond the contractual date. I don't know, but the fact that they shot at that truck further lets me know that who would shoot at something that's not theirs? That blows me. So I'm still confused. The fact that that SUV went around that gate like that, I said, no, this definitely is giving, I'ma steal your vehicle, sucker. That's what it's getting. And that's what it's giving. The fact that he already had the weapon on him makes me feel like he had a hint that somebody was coming to take his stuff. But regardless if it's a repossession or a stolen vehicle, people don't play about their property, whether they owe a payment or not. They're like, they're mine. Either way, this was broad daylight. I don't know where Belton, Texas is, but if y'all on that type of time, I don't want to visit. Okay? Now, the SUV was hit by a bullet, and by the grace of God, nobody was injured. But then you're probably saying, well, Shani, it was a red car backing up. Like, were they a part of it? I don't know. That's always an allegedly they could be. No, allegedly they not. But at the end of the day, it seemed personal. Don't take it personal, baby. Monica, it feels personal. So the person you saw shooting that very high-powered gun was locked up. I do not know the fate of that lockup. I don't know if they're going to be there for a while. I don't know if the shooting was within jurisdiction. I don't know, because I don't do them type of crimes. But there is a video, and I'm sure if you got this snippet of this piece, then you probably got a beginning and you probably got an end. They just got to push it together. Push, baby. Push it. I don't want that type of smoke on a regular day, because it could have been an innocent bystander that got shot or hit as that vehicle spit out the parking lot. But the guy is going to be charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And so again, they're holding this down as a repossession. To me, just seeing the energy in this video, I'm feeling like the vehicle is being stolen. But anybody that know more about it can come back and tell me, because again, they showed us and I'm showing you. Already? But if indeed it is a repossession, y'all got to pay y'all debts. Make the phone call, set up arrangements. If the vehicle's being stolen, baby, get a tracker on it. Do you hear me? But I'm just the messenger. Yes, it's your girl, Shani B. If you're cool with your girl, go on cool with your girl. Make sure you check out my website. Yes, www.ShawneeBentertainment.com. Check out the fan gear. You got options to drop donations, but never any pressure to do either of those two, because I see your likes, your shares, your comments. Means the world to me. So I was going to tell you thank you from my lips to your ears to rock with me, because y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all come keep little old me company, and I love that. Hop in the comments. No right or wrong answer, because the only people know that was going on is the person that was being shot at and the person shooting. Do you feel that this was a repossession, Or do you feel that this was a stolen vehicle in lifetime? And now I finally remember the company that allows you to rent personal vehicles from private owners. It's called Turo. I couldn't think
Yep.
of it to save my life. But what do you think it is? Because it's definitely, I'm going ding ding ding, stolen for 200. Because that's just how they get down in Texas. They would, especially those Denali's, those Tahoes, um, Jeep Cherokees be stolen, Suburbans sometimes be stolen. Like those are the ones that they really be chopping down. You might even have your Cadillac stolen, so you just got to keep your eye and your head on the swivel, baby. But either way, he know who, what, when, where, and how happened to that vehicle. But sir, good luck. And until next time, next story.
Ah, so cool, so cool. Always enjoy that. How about some travel, folks? I know we've been doing some travel segments. We're gonna follow Where is Malika as she takes us along 72 hours in the Australian outback, and yeah, again, Black folks traveling everywhere, everywhere. So let's check out Malika.
Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, is a massive sandstone monolith, a sacred site to the traditional owners. This site is known for its natural beauty, and it's an opportunity to immerse yourself in the native culture and experience a bit of adventure. This has been on my bucket list for years, and I felt so lucky to be able to finally go thanks to some generous Black Friday discounts that made the trip more affordable. We arrived after an approximately 3-hour flight from Sydney and checked into the Desert Gardens Hotel at Ayers Rock Resort. Ayers Rock Resort is just a stone's throw from Uluru itself. This place is like an oasis in the desert, offering everything from campsites to luxury hotels, complete with full amenities. Desert Gardens Hotel is one of the upper middle range properties, and I chose it because it's the only option that had rooms with views of the rock, but they actually weren't that amazing, so you can skip the room with the view upgrade and save some money. After checking in, we explored the property and the cultural center on site, but you aren't allowed to take photos in there to respect the Aboriginal art. Then we settled in for an early dinner and bedtime to be up at 4 a.m. for our sunrise experience over Uluru. Okay, so we did the sunrise hop on hop off bus, which stops at this sunrise viewing platform. So you get here nice and early, you can see the sunrise, and then it stops around a couple of different parts of the park. So you can really get to explore and see all the different things that this cultural center and amazing hub has to offer. And a few things to note about your experience here. You have to be prepared for the extreme weather. So right now it's really comfortable, but it is about like 6 in the morning. It's gonna peak and get really, really extremely hot very quickly. When we came in yesterday afternoon, it was over like 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's like 45 or 50 Celsius. So insanely hot, extremely high temperatures. So you have to be prepared for that. So sunscreen, ton of water, some kind of protective garment to keep your skin covered and protected, lots and lots of sunscreen, snacks, watch as well. My husband's saying, make sure you have your watch because your phone might overheat, you might lose service, and you need to keep track of the bus schedule if you're doing the hop on hop off bus. If you're driving yourself, it's fine, but if you're relying on the bus system, they run on time and they will leave you, so make sure you have a way to keep track of your schedule. I can't. There's so many flies. For those wanting the full experience, the Uluru Base Walk is a must. It's a roughly 10-kilometer loop that lets you see every face of this incredible monolith. But we decided to do the shorter Mala walk, which offered a fantastic glimpse into the scenery and culture. And you can also join one of the ranger guided tours that bring stories of Uluru to life. We then headed to the cultural center to check out a local exhibition and shops, but again, no footage inside was allowed. Then it was time to head back to the hotel for lunch, a nap, and some pool time, and then back to Uluru for a sunset excursion. So we are back for a sunset barbecue dinner here at Uluru. I'm so excited about this. They are already setting up the bar. They are unpacking the food. There's going to be all kinds of steaks and sausages, and I think some like local cuts of meat as well. So it's going to be awesome. This is one that I booked on Get Your Guide, and I will leave a link to the tour in the description box. But yeah, it's going to be a blast. And of course, you just literally cannot beat this view.
Man, that looks good. It's quite the sight. The outback in Australia. That's quite the sight. Wow. That's why I like Where's
So the next
Malika.
morning, we were back up again at 4 a.m. for our sunrise tour to Katajuta, which is included in the Hop on Hop Off Pass. It may be exhausting, but both parks are different, so it's worth the early a.m. sunrise 2 days in a row, especially knowing you have plenty of time to nap and relax later. Katajuta offers some truly spectacular hiking trails, and if you're up for a bit of adventure, you're in for a treat. The Valley of the Winds Walk is a challenging but incredible rewarding 3-hour loop that takes you deep into the heart of these ancient domes. You can see stunning panoramic views and have a real sense of connection with the landscape. But if you want something a little bit less strenuous like we did, the Wapa Gorge is another fantastic option. It leads you through a beautiful gorge shaded by towering walls of rock, plenty of wind for fresh air, and a glimpse into the unique flora and fauna that thrive in this environment. And just like Uluru, these walks offer unique cultural significance and breathtaking natural beauty.
Just some awesome stuff. She's got awesome stuff.
Then a few hours later, so second to last day in Uluru, we had to do something amazing. So we are hopping on a little scenic flight that's going to fly over Uluru. I'm really excited about the views. I'm also a little bit nervous because I am very prone to motion sickness, and I know I'm going to get sick on this thing. So I'm just hoping it's worth it. But here's our little plane.
Oh no.
So I don't actually know what I was thinking when I booked this. Maybe that the plane would be bigger or that there wouldn't be any turbulence. But as the pilot explained, the extreme heat that day caused thermal pockets, and that can make things super rocky. So even though the views were unforgettable, I regretfully had to cut this flight short because I started throwing up like crazy. The pilot said that sometimes pretending to pilot the plane with the controllers helps you maintain a sense of stability and control, but the flight conditions and heat just did me in because, by the way, there was really no circulation. Luckily, I could feel it coming and managed to get it all in the sick bag. So see how I get motion sick on a scenic flight and keep my vomit contained to my sick bag?
Don't show it. What are you
Very
showing us?
demure, very practical.
Oh no.
All right, and unfortunately, our time in Uluru has come to an end. This was such an incredible trip. It was really expensive. It was definitely kind of like one of my bucket list things to do and see, but this site is just so, so amazing. So if you are in Australia, if you made your way down or thinking about planning the trip and trying to decide your itinerary, I would highly recommend giving this a stop. It was just like such an out of this world spiritual experience and just nothing like anything I've ever seen before. So I definitely encourage you to come check it out for yourself. And if you like this video and liked hanging out with me and want to check out some more of my travel vlogs, I would really appreciate it. If you know someone who would also like this video and find it helpful, please send it to them, and please also like and subscribe. I am really trying to get this channel to 6,000 followers, so I would really appreciate the support if you like this video and you think someone else would like it too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. Where is Malika? Let's help her get to 6,000 folks. That would be awesome. I enjoy her stuff until that the whole vomit stuff. I'm not down with that. Come on, girl, you can do better than that. I would have done the same thing. There's no way I'm getting on a plane like that. No way. But it's really interesting to see Australia. It's at 72 hours in Australia, so in the outback, that is good for her. But lots of news. Continue to check out the news. Black owned media is where it's at, folks. Still largely uncompromised like everyone else is. So news you can use. Check us out. Won't be with you tomorrow morning, but we will have something throughout the day for you to check out. Let it be known. Thanks for always tuning in, and we'll hit you back with some more news you can use.
Let's go. Thank you, love.
That is a wrap, y'all. That is a wrap.